Take a slow breath. Just one breath. That's all you need to do right now. Just breathe. Nothing more. Nothing less. Just this moment. Just this breath. Loss changes everything. It changes how the world looks. It changes how time feels. It changes the weight of the air around you. And right now, wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. All of it. The heaviness. The emptiness. The confusion. The anger. The numbness. The waves of pain that come without warning. All of it is okay. You don't have to be strong right now. You don't have to have it together. You don't have to know what to say or how to feel or what comes next. You just have to be here. Breathing. Existing. Getting through this moment. And you are. You're here. You're still breathing. And that's enough for right now. Grief is not something you get over. It's not a problem to solve or a checklist to complete. It's something you move through slowly, at your own pace, in your own way. And there's no right way to do it, no timeline, no schedule, no rules. Your grief is yours. It's as unique as your fingerprint, as personal as your heartbeat. No one else can tell you how to feel it, or when to move through it, or what it should look like. This is your journey, your process, your pain, and your healing. Some days the grief will feel manageable, like something you can carry, like something you can live alongside. And other days it will feel crushing, like it's too much, like you can't possibly keep going, like the weight of it will break you. Both of those days are real. Both of those days are valid. Both of those days are part of this journey. You're not doing it wrong when it hurts. You're not failing when you cry. You're not weak when you need to rest. You're not broken when you feel like you can't go on. You're just human. You're just grieving. You're just experiencing one of the hardest things a person can go through. And you're doing it. You're surviving it. Even when it doesn't feel like survival. Even when it feels like you're barely hanging on. You're still here. Still breathing. Still moving forward. Even if that forward movement is so slow you can barely feel it. That matters. That counts. That's enough. Take another breath now. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let your face soften. You don't have to hold yourself so tightly. You can let go for just a moment. You can rest. The person you lost, the thing you lost, the life you lost, it mattered. It was real. It was important. And the fact that it's gone now doesn't erase how much it meant. Nothing can take away what was. Nothing can diminish the love. Nothing can undo the connection. That person, that relationship, that chapter of your life, it existed. It was beautiful. It was meaningful. And it will always be part of your story, even though it's not part of your present anymore. Loss doesn't erase love. It doesn't cancel out all the good that came before. It doesn't make the relationship meaningless. If anything, loss proves how much it all mattered. Because we don't grieve what we didn't love. We don't ache for what wasn't important. Your pain is proof of your love. Your grief is evidence of how deeply you cared. And both are sacred. Both are valid. Both deserve space and time and gentleness. You're allowed to feel everything you're feeling. The sadness, the anger, the guilt, the regret, the relief, the confusion, the numbness, the moments when you forget and then remember all over again. The moments when it hits you like a wave out of nowhere. The moments when you can't believe this is real. All of it is part of grief. All of it is normal. All of it is okay. There's no emotion you shouldn't feel. No thought you shouldn't have. No reaction that's wrong. Whatever you're experiencing right now, It's exactly what you need to be experiencing. Your body knows how to grieve. Your heart knows how to process this. Your spirit knows how to heal. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to rush anything. You don't have to be anywhere other than exactly where you are. Right now, in this moment, you're exactly where you need to be. Some people will try to help by telling you it gets better. And it does, in time. But right now, in the middle of it, that can feel impossible to believe. Right now, it might feel like nothing will ever be okay again. Like the pain will never ease, like you'll never feel normal again. And that's okay too. You don't have to believe in the future right now. You don't have to have hope. You don't have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to get through today. Just today. Just this hour. Just this moment. That's all you need to do. Just keep breathing. Just keep existing. Just keep moving through the minutes, even when they feel endless. And you're doing it. You might not feel like you are, but you are. Every moment you're still here, you're doing it. Every breath you take, you're doing it. Every time you get out of bed, even when you don't want to, you're doing it. You're stronger than you think. Not because you're handling this perfectly, not because you're not falling apart, but because you're still here, still trying, still getting through each day, even when each day feels impossible. That takes courage. Real courage. The kind that doesn't get recognized or celebrated. The kind that happens in quiet moments when no one else is watching. The kind that only you know about. The courage to face another day without what you've lost. The courage to keep living when part of you died with them. The courage to feel the pain instead of running from it. The courage to be honest about how hard this is. You have this courage. You're showing it right now. Just by being here. Just by listening. Just by allowing yourself to feel. Take a moment now. Breathe slowly. Let your body relax just a little. You don't have to carry everything so tightly. You can soften. You can rest. Even if just for this moment. Grief comes in waves. Sometimes you'll have good days. Days where you feel almost normal. Days where you laugh or smile or forget for a little while. And then suddenly, without warning, the wave will hit again, and you'll feel like you're drowning all over again. This is normal. This is how grief works. It's not linear. It's not a straight path from pain to healing. It moves in cycles, in waves, in spirals, forward and backward, up and down, better and worse. Don't judge yourself for the bad days. Don't feel guilty about the good days. All of it is part of the process. All of it is part of your healing journey. You're not going backward when you have a hard day after several good ones. You're not failing when the grief comes back strong after you thought you were doing better. You're just experiencing the natural rhythm of loss, the natural flow of healing. Healing isn't about never hurting again. It's about learning to carry the hurt in a way that doesn't destroy you. It's about finding room for both the pain and the joy. It's about discovering that you can hold grief and gratitude at the same time. That you can miss someone and still find moments of peace. That you can ache for what was and still appreciate what is. This is the work of grief, not to erase the pain, but to make room for it. Not to forget, but to remember in a way that doesn't break you. Not to move on, but to move forward, carrying your loss with you in a way that honors it without being consumed by it. And this takes time. So much time. More time than you want. More time than feels fair. More time than other people think it should take. But grief doesn't care about timelines. Grief doesn't follow anyone else's schedule. Grief takes as long as it takes. And your grief will take exactly as long as it needs to. Don't let anyone rush you. Don't let anyone tell you that you should be over it by now. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're grieving wrong, or grieving too long, or grieving too much. This is your loss, your pain, your journey, and only you get to decide how to walk through it. Some relationships leave bigger holes than others. Some losses cut deeper than others. Some grief takes longer to heal than others, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means you lost something significant, something important, something that mattered deeply to you. The depth of your grief reflects the depth of your love, and there's no shame in that. There's no weakness in that. There's only evidence of how much you cared, how much it meant, how much it mattered. You loved well. You cared deeply. You gave your heart fully. And now you're paying the price of that love, the price of that connection, the price of that bond. But even with all this pain, love was worth it. Connection was worth it. What you had was worth it. Because the alternative would have been to never love at all, to never connect, to never open your heart. And that would have been a different kind of loss. So you don't regret loving. You don't regret caring. You don't regret the relationship, even though it ended in loss. Because what you had was real. What you felt was genuine. What you shared was precious. And nothing can take that away. Not even death. Not even ending. Not even loss. What you had existed. It was real. It was beautiful. And it will always be part of your story. Always be part of who you are. Always be part of what shaped you. Loss changes us. It has to. We can't lose something significant and remain exactly the same. The loss carves out space inside us, hollows out places that used to be filled, creates voids that nothing else can quite fill. And learning to live with that void, learning to exist with that space, learning to carry that emptiness. That's part of the healing journey. You're not the same person you were before the loss. And you never will be again. Part of you died with what you lost. Part of your old life ended. Part of your old self disappeared. And that's another thing to grieve. The loss of who you were. The loss of the life you had. The loss of the future you imagined. All of it is gone now. All of it has changed. And you have to find a way to build a new life, a new identity, a new future. One that includes this loss. One that holds this pain. One that carries this absence. This is heavy work, exhausting work, soul-draining work. And some days it will feel impossible. Some days you won't want to do it. Some days you'll want to give up. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel that way. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to wish things were different. You're allowed to long for your old life. You're allowed to want what you can't have anymore. All of those feelings are valid. All of those wishes are understandable. All of that pain is real. But you're still here. Still breathing. Still moving forward. Even when you don't want to. Even when it feels pointless. Even when you can't see the reason for it. You're still here. And that matters. That means something. That counts for something. Take another breath now. Slow and gentle. Let your chest rise and fall naturally. You don't have to control anything. You don't have to fix anything. You just have to breathe. There will be days when you don't want to get out of bed. Days when the weight of the loss feels too heavy to carry. Days when you wonder how you're supposed to keep living when everything feels meaningless now. Those days are the hardest. Those are the days when grief feels like it's winning, like it's too much. Like you can't possibly survive this, but you will. Not because you're superhuman, not because you're so strong, but because you're human. Because you have survival instincts that kick in even when you don't want them to. Because your body keeps breathing even when your mind wants to stop. Because life keeps moving forward even when you want it to pause. And slowly, very slowly, you'll find small reasons to keep going, not big reasons. Not life-changing reasons, just small ones. Tiny ones. Barely there ones. Maybe it's the sunrise you see through your window. Maybe it's your pet who needs you. Maybe it's a friend who checks in. Maybe it's a favorite meal. Maybe it's a song. Maybe it's a memory that makes you smile through the tears. These small things won't make the grief go away. They won't fix the pain. They won't fill the void. But they'll give you something to hold on to. Something to tether you to this world. Something to remind you that there's still life happening, even in the middle of all this death and loss and ending. And little by little, those small things will accumulate. They'll add up. They'll create tiny moments of light in all this darkness. Tiny moments of breath in all this suffocation. Tiny moments of ease in all this heaviness. You won't notice it happening at first. The shift is so gradual, so subtle, so slow. But one day you'll realize you had an entire hour where you didn't think about the loss. Or a whole morning where the grief wasn't the first thing you felt. Or a day where you laughed without immediately feeling guilty about it. And these moments don't mean you're forgetting. They don't mean you're moving on. They don't mean you love any less. They just mean you're learning to live with the loss. Learning to carry it differently. Learning to make room for both the grief and the life that continues. This is what healing looks like. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of life alongside the pain. Not the forgetting of what was lost, but the remembering in a way that doesn't destroy you. Not the ending of grief, but the integration of grief into your daily existence. You'll always miss what you lost. Always. There will always be moments that trigger the pain. Always be days that feel harder than others. Always be anniversaries and holidays and random Tuesday afternoons that suddenly overwhelm you with grief. But those moments won't always consume you the way they do now. They won't always knock you down completely. They won't always feel unbearable. Time doesn't heal all wounds. But time does change them. Time does soften them. Time does make them more bearable. Not because the loss becomes less significant, but because you become stronger at carrying it. You develop muscles you didn't have before. Emotional muscles, spiritual muscles, mental muscles. The kind that can hold heavy things without breaking. The kind that can bend without snapping. The kind that can endure without collapsing. You're building these muscles right now. Every day you get through. Every moment you survive. Every breath you take. You're building strength you don't even realize you're developing. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not for a long time, but one day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come, how much you've survived, how strong you've become. Not strong in a way that pretends the pain doesn't exist, but strong in a way that acknowledges the pain and keeps living anyway. Strong in a way that honors the loss and still finds reasons to smile. Strong in a way that carries the grief and still makes room for joy. This is the strength that grief builds. Time equals 1 second. This is the resilience that loss creates. This is the depth that pain develops. You're becoming someone deeper, someone wiser, someone more compassionate, someone who understands suffering in a way that only those who've suffered can understand. This doesn't make the loss worth it. Nothing makes loss worth it. But it does mean something good can grow from something terrible. It does mean beauty can emerge from ashes. It does mean hope can rise from despair. Not because you try to force it. Not because you rush it. Not because you pretend everything is fine, but because that's what humans do. That's how we're built. We adapt. We survive. We find ways to keep going even when we think we can't. And you're doing that. Right now. In this moment. You're adapting. You're surviving. You're finding your way. Let your body soften again. Breathe deeply. Let the tension release from your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. You're carrying so much. It's okay to put it down for a moment. Even just for this breath. People mean well when they try to help. When they say things like, everything happens for a reason, or they're in a better place, or time heals all wounds. They're trying to offer comfort, trying to make it better, trying to give you hope. But sometimes those words hurt more than they help. Sometimes they feel dismissive. Sometimes they minimize your pain. Sometimes they make you feel like your grief isn't valid or your feelings aren't acceptable. And that's okay to acknowledge. You're allowed to be frustrated by well-meaning platitudes. You're allowed to wish people would just sit with you in the pain instead of trying to fix it or explain it away. You're allowed to need something different than what people are offering. Grief can be lonely. Even when you're surrounded by people, even when you have support, even when people care, because no one can fully understand your specific loss. No one can feel your exact pain. No one can walk this journey for you. This is something you have to do alone, even when you're not alone, even when you have love and support, even when people are there for you. Because grief is an internal experience. It happens inside you, in places no one else can reach, in ways no one else can see. And that solitude, that loneliness, that isolation, it's one of the hardest parts of loss. You can be in a room full of people and still feel completely alone in your grief. You can have friends and family who love you and still feel like no one understands. You can talk about your loss and still feel like your words can't capture what you're really feeling. This disconnect is part of the grief experience. And it's okay. It doesn't mean people don't care. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means grief is personal, individual, unique to each person. Your loss is not like anyone else's loss. Your pain is not like anyone else's pain. Your journey is not like anyone else's journey, and that's why it can feel so isolating. But you're not as alone as you feel. There are others who've walked through loss, others who understand the weight, others who know the depth of grief, others who've survived the unsurvivable. They might not have lost exactly what you lost, but they know loss. They know pain. They know grief. And they know that you can survive this. Because they survived it. Because they made it through. Because they're still here. And you will be too. You'll make it through this. Not because it's easy. Not because it gets better quickly. But because you're human. Because you're resilient. Because you're stronger than you think. You don't believe that right now. And that's okay. You don't have to believe it. You just have to keep breathing. Keep existing. Keep getting through one moment at a time. And eventually, without even realizing, it's happening. You'll start to feel different. Not better necessarily. Not healed necessarily, but different. More able to carry the weight. More able to function despite the pain. More able to find moments of peace in the midst of the grief. This shift happens so gradually you won't notice it day by day. But month by month, year by year, you'll see it, you'll feel it, you'll know it. The grief won't go away, but it will change. It will evolve. It will transform from something that consumes you to something you carry. From something that defines you to something that's part of you. From something that breaks you to something that shaped you. And in that transformation, you'll find yourself again. Not the old self. That self is gone. but a new self, a different self, a self that's been through fire and survived, a self that's been broken and healed, a self that's been lost and found their way. This new self will carry scars, will have rough edges, will be changed forever. But this new self will also have depth, will have wisdom, will have compassion, will have strength. You're becoming this new self right now, in the middle of the pain, in the middle of the darkness, in the middle of the grief. You're being transformed, reshaped, remade, and it hurts. It's supposed to hurt. Transformation always hurts. Growth always hurts. Change always hurts. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's real. It means something significant is happening inside you. You're not just surviving loss. You're learning how to live with loss. You're discovering who you are in the aftermath. You're figuring out how to build a life that includes this absence, this pain, this grief. And that work is hard. So hard. Harder than anything you've ever done. Harder than you thought possible. But you're doing it. Day by day, moment by moment, breath by breath. You're doing it. Breathe again now. Slow and steady. Let your mind rest for just a second. You don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to plan anything. You just have to be here. Right now. In this moment. There's no right way to grieve. No proper timeline. No correct process. Some people cry a lot. Some people don't cry at all. Some people talk about their loss constantly. Some people can't talk about it. Some people want to be around others. Some people need to be alone. All of it is okay. All of it is normal. All of it is valid. Your grief is yours. And however you need to experience it, that's the right way for you. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone shame you for grieving too much or not enough. Don't let anyone dictate how you should feel or what you should do or when you should be over it. This is your journey, your process, your pain. And only you get to decide how to navigate it. Some days you'll want to talk about your loss. Other days you'll need silence. Some days you'll want company. Other days you'll need solitude. Some days you'll feel strong enough to face the world. Other days you'll need to hide from it. All of these responses are appropriate. All of these needs are legitimate. All of these feelings are real. Honor whatever you're feeling in each moment. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to sit in silence, sit in silence. If you need to stay in bed all day, stay in bed all day. Give yourself permission to grieve however you need to grieve. Without judgment, without criticism, without apology. This is your healing process. And it's messy. It's not pretty. It's not neat. It's not linear. It's chaotic and confusing and unpredictable. And that's exactly how it should be. Because grief is messy. Loss is messy. Time equals 1 second. Healing is messy. There's no clean way through it. No organized path. No clear roadmap. You just have to feel your way through. Trust your instincts. Listen to your body. Honor your emotions. Follow your heart. And some days you'll do this well. Other days you'll fall apart. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress. Other days you'll feel like you're back at the beginning. Both are part of the process. Both are part of the journey. Both are okay. You're not failing when you have a bad day. You're not regressing when the grief comes back strong. You're just experiencing the natural ebb and flow of loss. The natural rhythm of healing. Like waves in the ocean. Sometimes calm. Sometimes rough. Sometimes gentle. Sometimes violent. Always moving. Always flowing. Always changing. Your grief will be like this. Some days calm enough to navigate. Other days rough enough to knock you down. Some days gentle enough to breathe through. Other days violent enough to feel like drowning. And you'll survive all of it. The calm days and the rough days. The gentle days and the violent days. All of it. Because you're stronger than you know. More resilient than you think. More capable than you believe. Not because you're special. Not because you're superhuman. But because you're human. And humans are built to survive. Built to adapt. Built to endure. You have everything you need inside you to get through this. All the strength. All the courage. All the resilience. It's all there. It's always been there. Sometimes it's just buried under the weight of the grief, but it's there. And you'll find it when you need it. You'll discover reserves of strength you didn't know you had. You'll tap into depths of courage you didn't know existed. You'll access resilience you didn't know you possessed. Not because you want to, but because you have to. Because that's what grief does. It pushes you to your limits. And then it pushes you beyond them. And somehow, impossibly, you survive. You survive the unsurvivable. You endure the unendurable. You carry the unbearable. And in doing so, you discover who you really are. What you're really made of. What you're truly capable of. This discovery doesn't make the loss worth it. Nothing makes loss worth it. But it does mean something can be gained from something so terrible. Something can be learned from something so painful. Something can grow from something so devastating. You're being shaped by this experience, molded by this pain, transformed by this loss. And who you're becoming is someone deeper, someone wiser, someone more compassionate, someone more human. Take another slow breath. Let it fill your lungs completely. Then release it gently. Feel your body in this moment. Feel yourself existing. Feel yourself surviving. Because you are. You're surviving. Even when it doesn't feel like it. You're doing it. Some moments of grief will surprise you. You'll be going about your day, feeling relatively okay, and then suddenly something will trigger a memory. A smell. A song. A place. A phrase. And the grief will hit you like a tidal wave. Out of nowhere. Without warning. Knocking you completely off balance. These moments are some of the hardest. Because they catch you off guard. Because you weren't prepared. Because you thought you were doing better. And suddenly, you're right back in the thick of it. Right back in the pain. Right back in the loss. And it can feel like you're not making any progress. Like you're not healing at all. Like you'll never get better. But that's not true. These moments don't mean you're not healing. They're just part of the healing process. They're part of how grief works. Grief doesn't follow a straight line. It circles back. It revisits. It resurfaces. Even years later. Even when you think you've processed it. Even when you think you've moved through it. There will always be moments that bring it back. Always be triggers that activate the pain. Always be times when the loss feels fresh again. And that's okay. That's normal. That's grief. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean you haven't healed. It just means you loved deeply. It means what you lost mattered. It means the connection was real. And something that real, that deep, that meaningful, it doesn't just disappear. It leaves an imprint. It creates a mark. It shapes you forever. And you'll feel that shaping for the rest of your life. Not every moment. Not every day. But sometimes. In unexpected moments. In quiet times. In random instances that catch you off guard. And when those moments come, be gentle with yourself. Don't judge yourself for still grieving. Don't criticize yourself for still feeling the pain. Don't shame yourself for not being over it yet. You're not meant to get over it. You're meant to learn to live with it, to integrate it, to carry it in a way that doesn't destroy you. And that takes time. So much time. More time than seems reasonable. More time than feels fair. But that's what grief requires. Time, patience, gentleness, compassion for yourself, from yourself, toward yourself. You deserve the same kindness you'd give to someone else who's grieving, the same patience, the same understanding, the same grace. If someone you loved was going through this, you'd tell them to take their time, to feel their feelings, to be gentle with themselves, to rest when they need to cry when they need to take it one day at a time. Give yourself that same permission, that same grace, that same compassion, because you deserve it just as much as anyone else. More even, because you're the one walking through this. You're the one carrying this weight. You're the one surviving this loss, and you're doing it. You might not feel like you're doing it well, but you're doing it. You're still here, still breathing, still moving forward, even when forward feels impossible, even when you're not sure why you're bothering, even when part of you wants to give up. You're still here, and that's everything. That's the most important thing. That's what matters most. Because as long as you're here, there's hope. As long as you're breathing, there's possibility. As long as you're surviving, there's a future. Even if you can't see it yet. Even if you can't imagine it. Even if you don't want it. It's there, waiting for you. When you're ready. When the time is right. When you've healed enough to glimpse it. Not a future without pain. Not a future without grief. But a future where the pain doesn't consume you. Where the grief doesn't define you. Where the loss is part of your story but not the whole story. That future is possible, even when it doesn't feel possible. Even when you can't believe it. Even when everyone telling you it gets better feels like a lie. It does get different. It does get more bearable. It does get less consuming. Not because you forget. Not because you stop loving. Not because you move on. But because you learn to carry it differently. You learn to live with it. You learn to exist alongside it. And that learning process, that's what you're doing right now. In this moment. In this breath. In this day. You're learning how to survive loss. How to live with grief. How to exist in a world that no longer has what you lost. And it's hard. It's so hard. Harder than you ever imagined. Harder than words can express. Harder than anyone who hasn't experienced it can understand. But you're doing it, moment by moment. Breath by breath, day by day. You're doing it. Let yourself rest now. Breathe slowly. Let your whole body soften. You don't have to be strong right now. You don't have to keep it together. You can just be. Just exist. Just breathe. The relationship between grief and memory is complex. Memories can bring comfort and pain at the same time. They remind you of what was beautiful and what is now gone. They offer connection to what you lost and highlight the emptiness of that loss. Some people are afraid to remember because it hurts too much. They try to avoid thoughts of their loss. They push away memories. They distract themselves from anything that reminds them. And that's okay. That's a valid way to cope, especially early on when the pain is too raw. But eventually, for most people, memories become precious. They become the way we keep our loss alive in some form. They become bridges to what was. They become treasures we hold close, and learning to remember without being destroyed by the memory. That's part of healing. That's part of moving through grief. That's part of learning to carry loss in a way that honors it without being consumed by it. You can smile at memories and still miss what you lost. You can feel gratitude for what was and still ache for what isn't anymore. You can hold joy and sadness in the same moment. You can laugh about good times and cry about them being over. All of these contradictions are part of grief. All of these opposing feelings can exist together. Nothing about grief is black and white. Everything about grief is complicated, nuanced, layered, and you don't have to understand it all. You don't have to make sense of it. You don't have to explain it to anyone, including yourself. You just have to feel it, experience it, move through it, in whatever way works for you. Some people find comfort in talking about their loss, sharing stories, keeping the memory alive through words, and that can be healing. That can be powerful, that can help. Other people find comfort in privacy, in processing internally, in keeping their grief close, and that's equally valid, equally healing, equally okay. There's no right way to remember, no correct way to honor what you lost, no proper way to keep the connection alive. You do what feels right to you, what brings you comfort, what helps you survive. And what helps today might not help tomorrow. What works this month might not work next month. You're allowed to change, to evolve, to try different things, to figure out what you need as you go. Grief is not static, it's dynamic. It shifts, it changes, it transforms, and your relationship with your grief will change too. What you need from it, what you do with it, how you carry it, all of that will evolve over time. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to work. That's the natural process of healing. Not healing as in the grief goes away, but healing as in you learn to live with it, you integrate it. You make space for it in your life without letting it take over your whole life. This is the work. The slow, painful, exhausting work of grief, and you're doing it. Whether you feel like you are or not, whether it seems like you're making progress or not, whether you believe you can or not, you're doing it. Because every day you survive is progress. Every moment you breathe is healing. Every time you choose to keep going, even when you don't want to, you're doing the work. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like barely surviving. It feels like drowning. It feels like dying. But it's actually living. It's actually healing. It's actually moving through the grief instead of being stuck in it. And one day, maybe not soon, but one day, you'll realize you've been doing more than surviving. You've been healing. You've been growing. You've been learning to live with loss. And that realization won't make the loss hurt less, won't make the grief disappear, won't fix what's broken, but it will show you that you're stronger than you thought, more resilient than you believed, more capable than you imagined. Take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment. Then let it go completely. Feel the release. Feel the letting go. Even just for this one breath, you can let go. You can rest. You can be still. There's something important to understand about grief. It doesn't just affect you emotionally. It affects you physically, mentally, spiritually, relationally. It touches every part of your life, every aspect of your being. You might feel tired all the time, exhausted for no reason, depleted even when you've rested. That's grief. That's your body processing the loss. That's the physical manifestation of emotional pain. You might struggle to concentrate, have trouble remembering things, feel foggy and unfocused. That's grief too. That's your mind overwhelmed by processing loss. That's normal. That's temporary. You might question everything. Your beliefs, your faith, your purpose, your identity. Everything that felt solid before might feel shaky now. That's grief shaking your foundation. That's the spiritual crisis that often comes with significant loss. You might struggle in your relationships, feel disconnected from people, not know what to say, feel like no one understands. That's grief creating distance. That's the isolation that loss brings. That's the loneliness of walking through something so personal. All of this is normal. All of this is expected. All of this is part of the grief experience. You're not falling apart. You're not losing your mind. You're not broken beyond repair. You're just grieving. And grief affects everything, touches everything, changes everything. So be gentle with yourself. Be patient with your body. Be understanding with your mind. Be compassionate with your spirit. Be forgiving in your relationships. You're doing the best you can with what you have. And what you have right now is limited. Your capacity is reduced. Your energy is depleted. Your reserves are empty. That's okay. That's temporary. That's part of the process. As you heal, your capacity will return. Your energy will replenish. Your reserves will refill. Not all at once. Not suddenly. But gradually. Slowly. Over time. And you'll feel more like yourself again. Not the old self, but a new version of yourself. A version that's been changed by loss, shaped by grief, transformed by pain, but still you, still here, still capable of living, still worthy of joy. That might be hard to believe right now, and that's okay. You don't have to believe it. You just have to keep existing, keep breathing, keep surviving, and eventually when you're ready, when the time is right, you'll start to see it, to feel it, to know it. You'll start to notice moments of lightness, moments of peace, moments where the grief isn't the only thing you feel, moments where life breaks through the darkness. And those moments will grow, expand, multiply, not because the grief gets smaller, but because your life gets bigger, because you make room for both, because you learn to hold joy and sorrow together, because you discover that you can grieve and live at the same time. This is what healing looks like. Not the absence of grief, but the presence of life alongside grief. Not forgetting what you lost, but remembering while. Also moving forward, not getting over it, but learning to carry it in a way that doesn't destroy you. And you will learn this. You will discover this. You will live this. Not because you're trying to, not because you want to, but because that's what humans do. That's how we survive loss. That's how we heal from grief. We integrate it. We carry it. We learn to live with it. And in doing so, we honor what we lost. We keep the connection alive. We allow the love to continue, even when the relationship has ended. Because love doesn't end with loss. Connection doesn't disappear with death or ending or absence. What you had, what you felt, what you shared, it existed. It was real. And it continues to exist in your heart, in your memories, in the way it shaped you. Nothing can take that away. Not death, not time, not distance, not anything. What you had will always be part of you, will always be part of your story, will always matter, and learning to hold that truth alongside the truth of the loss. That's the work of grief. That's the journey of healing. That's what you're learning to do right now, even when it doesn't feel like learning, even when it feels like drowning, even when it feels impossible. You're learning, you're growing, you're healing, in ways you can't see yet, in ways you won't recognize for a long time. But it's happening. It's always happening. As long as you're breathing, you're healing. As long as you're surviving, you're growing. As long as you're existing, you're moving through this. Even when it doesn't feel like movement, even when it feels like you're stuck. Even when it feels like you'll never get through it, you're moving. You're progressing. You're healing. Trust that. Even when you can't feel it. Even when you can't see it. Even when you can't believe it. Trust that your body knows how to heal. Your heart knows how to process pain. Your spirit knows how to survive loss. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to rush anything. You don't have to make anything happen. You just have to allow it. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to heal. In your own time. At your own pace. In your own way. Breathe now. Slowly. Deeply. Let the breath remind you that you're alive. That you're here. That you're surviving. That you're doing it. One breath at a time. One moment at a time. One day at a time. The holidays will be hard. Anniversaries will be hard. Birthdays will be hard. The first year will be especially hard because everything is a first. First birthday without them. First holiday without them. First anniversary of the loss. All the firsts are brutal, and you'll survive them. Not because you want to, not because they get easier, but because you'll get through them. One moment at a time, 1 hour at a time, one day at a time. You'll survive what you think you can't survive. And then the second year comes, and people expect you to be better, to be over it, to be back to normal. But sometimes the second year is harder than the first, because the shock has worn off, because the numbness has faded, because the reality has fully set in, because you can't keep pretending it's not real anymore. The second year is when you realize this is permanent. This is forever. This is your life now, without what you lost, without who you lost, without what you had. And that realization can be devastating, can knock you down all over again, can make you feel like you're back at the beginning, but you're not at the beginning. You're further along than you think. You're stronger than you were. You're more capable than you realize. You've survived a whole year of firsts. A whole year of grief, a whole year of learning to live without what you lost. That matters. That counts. That's significant, even if it doesn't feel like it. Even if you feel like you're not making progress. Even if it feels like you're just barely hanging on. You're doing more than hanging on. You're surviving. You're existing. You're learning to live with loss. And that's huge. That's monumental. That's more than most people can imagine doing, so be proud of yourself. Even when you don't feel proud, even when it feels like failure, even when it feels like you're just barely making it, you're making it. And that's everything. Every day you survive is a victory. Every moment you breathe is a triumph. Every time you choose to keep going is an act of courage. And you're doing it. Every single day. You're doing it. The third year gets different. The fourth year gets different still. Each year changes. Not necessarily easier, not necessarily better, but different, more bearable, more manageable, more integrated. The grief becomes part of your life instead of consuming your life. The loss becomes part of your story instead of the whole story. The pain becomes something you carry instead of something that carries you. This transformation takes years. Not months, not weeks, years. And that's okay. That's normal. That's how it's supposed to work. Don't let anyone rush you. Don't let anyone tell you that you should be over it by now. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for still grieving. You'll grieve as long as you need to grieve. You'll hurt as long as you need to hurt. You'll process this loss at your own pace. And anyone who truly cares about you will understand that, will support that, will give you space for that. The people who matter will be patient with you, will be gentle with you, will be there for you, for as long as it takes, for however you need them, without judgment, without criticism, without pressure. And if someone can't do that, if someone makes you feel bad for grieving, if someone tells you to get over it, they're not your person, they're not safe for you right now. They're not helping, and you're allowed to step away from them. You're allowed to protect yourself. You're allowed to surround yourself only with people who support your healing. This is your journey, your process, your pain, and you get to decide who walks with you through it, who has access to your grief, who you share your heart with. Choose wisely, choose carefully. Choose people who honor your pain instead of dismissing it. Choose people who sit with you in the darkness instead of trying to rush you to the light. Choose people who understand that healing takes time and are willing to give you that time. These are your people. These are the ones who matter. These are the ones who will help you survive this. Not by fixing it, not by making it better, but by being present, by staying, by witnessing your pain without trying to take it away. Because no one can take your pain away. No one can make the grief disappear. No one can fix what's broken. But people can be present with you in it, can hold space for it, can validate it, can honor it. And that presence, that witnessing, that honoring, it matters. It helps. It makes a difference. Not in making the pain go away, but in making it more bearable, more survivable, more endurable. You need people like this in your life. People who can handle your grief without trying to fix it. People who can see your pain without being scared by it. People who can love you through it without needing you to be okay. These people exist. They might not be who you expect. They might not be your closest relationships before the loss, but they'll show up. They'll reveal themselves. They'll prove their steadiness through their presence. Pay attention to who shows up, who stays, who can handle the messiness of grief. Those are your people. Those are the ones to keep close. Those are the ones who will help you survive this. Let yourself lean on them. Let yourself receive their support. Let yourself be vulnerable with them. Let yourself need them. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's knowing you can't do this alone. That's understanding that humans need each other, especially in the hardest moments. And you deserve that support. You deserve that care. You deserve people who show up for you the way you've shown up for others. You deserve to receive the same kindness you've given. You deserve to be held in your pain the way you've held others in theirs. Don't be afraid to need people. Don't be ashamed of leaning on others. Don't apologize for your grief or your need for support. You're human. You're grieving. You're surviving something massive. Of course you need support. Of course you need help. Of course you need people. We all do. We all need each other. Especially in the darkness. Especially in the pain. Especially in the grief. No one survives significant loss alone. No one heals in isolation. No one gets through grief without support. So let people in. Let people help. Let people support you. Even when it's hard. Even when you want to be strong. Even when you think you should handle it alone. You don't have to. You're not supposed to. You're allowed to need help. And needing help doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It makes you wise. It makes you someone who understands that we're all in this together. That we all need each other. That connection is what helps us survive the hardest parts of life. So connect. Reach out. Let people in. Share your heart. Express your pain. Ask for what you need. And let yourself receive the support that's offered. This is part of healing. This is part of surviving. This is part of learning to live with loss, not doing it alone, Not pretending you're fine. Not keeping everything inside. But sharing, connecting, receiving, allowing yourself to be supported. Because you deserve that support. You deserve that care. You deserve that love. Not because you've earned it. Not because you're special, but because you're human. And all humans deserve care, especially when they're suffering. You're suffering. And that's okay. It's okay to suffer. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to need help. All of that is okay. All of that is normal. All of that is part of being human. So be human. Be messy. Be honest. Be vulnerable. Be real. And let people love you through it. Let people support you through it. Let people help you survive it, because you don't have to do this alone. You're not supposed to do this alone. You're allowed to need people. You're allowed to lean on others. You're allowed to receive support. And in receiving that support, you're not only helping yourself, you're helping others too. Because when you let people support you, you're giving them a gift. The gift of being needed. The gift of making a difference. The gift of helping someone they care about. So let them help. Let them support. Let them care. Not just for yourself, but for them too. Because they need to help just as much as you need help. They need to feel useful just as much as you need support. This is how we heal together. This is how we survive together. This is how we get through the hardest parts of life together. By supporting each other. By being there for each other. By loving each other through the pain. You're not alone in this. Even when you feel alone, even when the grief feels isolating, even when no one else can fully understand, you're not alone. People care. People want to help. People are there for you. Let them be. Let them in. Let them support you. And trust that together, you'll get through this. Not easily. Not quickly. But eventually. Slowly. Gradually. One day at a time. You'll survive this. You'll heal from this. You'll learn to live with this. Not because you want to, but because you have to. Because life keeps moving. Because you're still here. Because you're still breathing. And as long as you're breathing, there's hope. As long as you're surviving, there's possibility. As long as you're here, there's a future. A future that includes this loss. A future that carries this grief. But also a future that holds joy. That holds peace. That holds life. That future is waiting for you. When you're ready. When the time is right. When you've healed enough to see it. Until then, just breathe. Just survive. Just exist. One moment at a time. One breath at a time. One day at a time. That's all you need to do. That's all anyone can ask. That's all that matters. You're doing it. You're surviving. You're getting through this. And that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. Breathe. Just breathe. And let yourself be exactly where you are, right here, right now, surviving, existing, being. That's all you need to do. Just be. Just breathe. Just survive.